In this tutorial today, we're going to be looking into how we can create a non-standard column chart or a clustered column chart like this one. You know what's really good about this chart is, you see, this is really informative because all the key chart elements have been given a precision. It's visually appealing and it's different to what people are used to seeing, so they pay more attention. You see this one, for example, this is the common one. This is also informative, I should say, but the thing is, this is very common and probably you see it every day. So if you put them side by side, I guess you will like the first one just like everyone else. And in today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create this non-standard column chart using Microsoft Excel. So let's do it. As you can see, I already have a dataset that I'll be using in today's tutorial. So I'll select all the data, then go to Insert and go to this chart groups and this column chart drop down. Then I'll go to this clustered column, click on that. And let's first of all change the size of this chart to a little bit bigger one. So I'll go to this format and give the height to around 5 inch and width, let's give it 10 inch. And let's remove this one. Let's remove this title, or let's keep it for now. So but this is not the title that we want, so go to this formula bar, click, write this equal sign and select this before cell. This is our title, and we don't want this grid line, so remove that. And since I'm still here, so I'll go to this shape outline, no outline, and I'll right click on this chart area and this go to this format chart area. Now the options that I'll be playing with are right here. So I'll select one of these columns once, and this window will pop up, format data series. So I'll go to this series option. From this gap width, I will reduce it to around 45%. Now for the bottom, this horizontal category, I will go select that, go to home. From this font type, I will choose this Pibus and increase the font to around 14 size. And since I'm still here, so select these columns again, go to this shape, fill and line. I'll go to this fill option and select one of these beautiful sign colors. Very good. And from this border, let's select no line. I think we don't need this title, so let's just remove it. I will select these columns again, right click and add data label. The data label is on. Now select the data label, increase the size it to around 24 and change the font type to Bibus. Very good. Now this is the data, but we want our highest data to be in pink color. For example, in this particular case, carbon fiber has the highest strength, so I'll select, double click to select this carbon column only, and I'll go to this shape and fill, and from the solid fill, shape fill, I will go to this drop down and select this beautiful pink color. Ladies and gentlemen, your first graph, the most common graph or the most common chart is done. Now in our tutorial, as I wanted to make it a little bit more attractive, so let's change these rectangular shapes to something that has round tops. The top of each rectangle is something round. So let's duplicate this chart, Control C, press somewhere outside this chart and Control V and put it right beside this chart so that any change that we make, you can see what is going on. Now let's bring a shape that has a round top So I'll go to insert, and from this little shape I'll go and find something. I think this one. So this is the thing that we want. Obviously we can rotate, yes, and let's go to this shape outline and no outline, and from this one we'll choose this cyan color one, and let's copy and paste it because we need another one, and let's change the color to this pink color. Now it's very easy to change these shapes, these rectangular shapes, to something like this. So what will I do? I will just select this one, copy and select all these shapes and paste, Ctrl V or Command V if you are using a MacBook. Very good. Now this is the first one was pink, so let's make it pink. Let's paste it with this shape. So let's copy this one and double click on this carbon one and Ctrl V or Command V. But the problem is, you see, zoom out a little bit, as you can see all these shapes do not have exactly same top. Some are pointy, too pointy, some are somewhat like flat. So probably this is not the best way to do it. So what I will do now is I will go and copy all these things. Copy and paste it somewhere here. So as I said, this is not something that we want. So what can we do? We can divide each of these columns into two. And for the top part, we can keep the same number so that they always give you the same shape. And the bottom part, we use a shape, for example, a rectangular shape that doesn't mind being stretched out. You will see what I'm talking about. So since since our plan is to divide each of these columns into two, so I think single clustered column chart is not the proper way. So instead we will go for stacked column charts. So for the stacked column charts, we're going to need two data series. So let's do, for example, stack 1 and this one stack 2. For the stack 1, we want to keep the bottom portion, the rectangular portion, and the stack 2 on the top, we want this kind of shapes. So let's say stack 2, we choose a minimum number that is common to all these categories. So I'll go here, equal sign, minimum of all this data range, and close bracket close, divided by, let's say, 2. So what I just did, the minimum number of this data set is I think 800, and I just divided it by 2, so 400. So let's click on this right side, this square, and drag it so that we apply the same formula to all these rows. Very good. So for each of these data series, 400 is a very common number. Now for the stack 1, I think it should be this original data minus this stack 2. So 1600 is the stack 1 and stack 2 400. All together it makes 2000. So I'll click on this square again and drag to apply the same formula for all the rest of the data series. So 1600 400, as you can see, let's zoom in a little bit. Yeah, then 400 plus 400 800, 800 plus 400 1200, and so on. Now ladies and gentlemen, as I said, we want to create a stacked column. So I'll select this data range. I will keep pressing the command key or control key, then I will select this data range and this data range as well. I'll leave this one for now. Now after that, I'll go to this insert and click on this column icon again, but this time instead of going for this clustered column, we'll go for this stacked column. Very good. Now again, we don't need this one, we don't need this one, we don't need this one too. So let's change the size, go to format and 5" and this one is 10". Cool. Let's drag it and position it to somewhere that you can see. So let's remove these grid lines and change the shape outline to no outline, and click one of these columns and go to the series options, and from here let's keep it 45%. Cool. Now change this horizontal category axis. We increase the font size and change the font style. So let's increase it to 14. All right. Now let's go to, again we go to these columns, and from this fill and line options, we'll solid fill, we'll choose this one. Yes, and no line. And for the top portion, again from the solid fill, we go to the same color and no line. Now let's replace this top part with one of these shapes. So let's just copy it, select this one, this top portion only, Command V or Control V. Very good. Now what I will do now is, since this carbon fiber should be this pink color, so I'll select this, double click to select this single column only, and I can change the color because this is rectangle, so no problem. So I'll change the color to this pink, but for this one we want to replace it with this one. So I'll copy this one, double click to select this top only, and Command B. Cool. Now let's zoom out a little bit. Yeah. So now what I will do, I will bring those data labels. So let's click on this top portion of each columns, then right click, add data label. Your data label has been added. Let's select that, change the font type to Bebus, increase the font size to 14 size, or let's make it a little bit bigger, I think 24. Yes. Let's change the color to white to make it stand out. Now this 400, 400, 400, 400, 400, this is not the thing we want. We want it to replace with this 2000, 2000, 2800, this column. What I will do now, I will go to this series option, then from this level option, I will go to this value from cells, and I will select the level range. So this time I want it to be this column. So there we go. Now let's remove this value and show me the lines, and in the middle, yeah, this is where we wanted to we wanted our data to be seen. Now for this one, let's remove this one. For the bottom rectangular portions, we'll again do the same. Right click, add data label, and add data label. Let's make it 14. Let's change the color to white to make it stand out. To make them stand out, let's change the font to Bebus. But again, 1600, 400, 800, this is not the thing that we want. So let's replace it with going to this from value cells. This time we want these fiber names to appear. So cool. So again, we remove this value and show little lines. But in the middle, not in the middle, we want them to appear inside the base. Ladies and gentlemen, you have just created that non-standard column chart or infograph from this one. This is the most common one that most of the people use, and probably you see it every day, but this is the one that we wanted to create in today's tutorial. So that's all for the tutorial. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't subscribed my channel, please do, because I'm gonna come up with a lot more tutorials about Microsoft Excel and other Microsoft Office programs. And see you with another tutorial. Until then, ta-da.